so before we start talking, like, how are you doing during this time period? I've seen on your Instagram that you're like pressing flowers and you're riding a tractor and you're planting seeds. Like, I would love to be doing that. So how are you managing things right now?
I mean, you literally just said it all. For me, right when this started, so for like 5 or 6 years, I've had this dream of gardening and starting a flower garden, but it takes time and research. And
Yeah.
I always thought I was a brown thumb and killed everything I owned. And
Yeah.
I think it was like the second day of quarantine here, I got one pot of flowers and it has now exploded on my deck. And I'm actually about to move to a new house that has much bigger garden space. So
Yeah.
it started just for me in the mornings. Gardening became sort of my spiritual practice and meditation. And then because it was bringing me so much calm and joy during this time, I actually started making some elderly neighbors and the delivery workers homemade terracotta pots with plants.
So
And
nice.
like delivering them with little notes and pressed flowers as just like a way to brighten their day. And
Yeah.
that turned into like really taking some like college level courses on kiss the ground of regenerative gardening and regenerative agriculture and how we can reverse climate change,
Yeah.
help reverse climate change. That was really interesting to me. The difference I was learning between sustainability, which is slowing down climate change, but
Yeah.
then actual things like soil regeneration, which takes the extra carbon from the atmosphere and puts it into our plants and our food and our
Amazing.
living systems. And so I
Yeah.
got super excited about that and then started volunteering at a regenerative farm, wearing a mask and socially distant, planting things. I think for me, like giving back is my way of dealing with
Yeah.
this.
It's hard because, like, here in New York, I mean, you don't want to potentially infect somebody. Let's say you're
I know,
like this
of
really weird
course.
thing of like, can I help people? Like, can I go see my in-law? Like, you know what I mean? There's other things
I know.
like, well, when is it actually okay to obviously take the precautions, but also, realize that it's okay and you're not going to get somebody sick.
That's the
I,
worst part. I mean, I think outside, at least for right now, everything I've been doing is outside with masks, socially distant, like planting and stuff. I have gloves, I have a mask, I have my own. That has been like a way I feel like I can give back, but you're right, still staying safe.
yeah.
I don't know other than giving monetary, which I've
Yeah.
been doing as well, to food
Yeah.
banks and things like that. But it was important for me and also to have like my hands in the earth.
Sure.
And I don't know if you've been feeling this too, but like because of this pandemic, I'm feeling so much more connected to nature.
Oh,
I mean, I've always
me too.
loved nature,
Yeah.
but like hiking every morning has always been a staple of my routine. But just living during this, it makes you reflect and think about how we're all connected
Yeah.
by nature, and the universe. And
I have a pretty decent sized outdoor space here in Brooklyn, and you wouldn't believe I've been cultivating.
cool.
I have so much basil. I have cosmos.
Oh, I love it. You have
It's
cosmos?
great.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
gosh.
I have all these like the pom pom cosmos. I don't know.
Yes.
Do you know floret flowers?
Do I know Floret
Okay.
Flowers? Their book is back here too. I love them.
Yeah. So I started saving seeds from that. I'm like I have like a lot of different lives besides what I
You
do
and
here.
me best friends in
Yeah.
like
And so they started coming up again, and so they're just like incredible. Like seashell cosmos are amazing. Yeah, and I've also always wanted to grow like Oriental poppies, and I've started with them.
yeah,
Yeah, my husband and I have maxed out. We're like, I think
that's
we're
how my
ready
deck
to.
is.
I think we're ready for a change.
My gosh,
You know what
come
I
to
mean?
we could do all the gardening and soil regeneration your heart
Amazing.
desires and
I
planting.
know. My sisters are in San Diego, and they're like, "Come out, come out, come out!" And
Read Braiding Sweetgrass, the
no,
book Sweetgrass. I finished it for the first time, like the first week of quarantine. I had been wanting to read it for years. And if you love plants, like it seems like the way I do, I think you'll love that book. It's a great book to read during this
great
time.
sweetgrass.
Braiding Sweetgrass.
Okay.
Robin Wall Kimmerer, I think is her name, but how you say her name, but she's an Indigenous woman who is a biologist and I mean, conservationist, like everything in upstate New York. And
Oh,
it's
really?
just, you'll never look at like a strawberry or a maple tree again without having this like personal connection. And
Okay.
she talks a lot about honorable harvesting, which I love. So we have a lemon tree, and now I always give something to the lemon tree before I take a lemon. Like,
What do you
ask
give? Just
the
some
lemon.
nutrients or?
She says you can get like fresh tobacco, like just in, I keep it in a little pouch and I just
Okay.
sprinkle it. It's just an offering to say thank you. But my husband's cracking up at me because he'll be like, go get some lemons for margaritas. And I'll be like, is it okay if I take a lemon? We're going to make margaritas. And I like wait to feel like it's okay. But, you know, the philosophy behind, you know, not just as humans, like taking and taking and taking without having a relationship to the earth and the things that give us sustenance has been another quarantine sort of life lesson that I've been learning.
I love that. No, I think that's true. I think that I always kind of been thinking about what is going to kind of come out of this period and how I
Yeah.
just, for me, it's like kind of like stripping back. I mean, we are always
Yeah.
so busy. We are always so, we're like never have time for anything. That's like the common thread in New York. You move,
Yes. Same in here. Yeah.
and it just is like this has really forced everybody to slow down and think about what really is important, like spending time with family or really enjoying like going outside and be like, this is a privilege to be in nature. you know
Yeah. When the hikes were closed, because
yeah,
I hike almost every morning, and that was like, you know, before I'd go to set, that's like my thing that I do. And we obviously they had to close the hikes as they should have because they were getting overcrowded, but losing that and
yeah,
realizing how grateful I am for that piece of my mornings back now has been like, you're right. There's so much gratitude happening. And
yeah,
it's interesting. I don't know if you found this, but the beginning of quarantine at night, I was like binging TV and all these shows I wanted to catch up on and stuff.
yeah,
But recently, I haven't watched TV at all. I've just been
either.
reading. I've been listening to records. Like, I feel like I'm, speaking of slowing down, there's like also this disconnect from technology I've been noticing as this goes on more, that I'm truly loving.
Yeah,
Like, I started learning the banjo, so I'll like
I
sit at
felt,
night and play that. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I'm really grateful. It's a sad time and it's uncertain times. And I know we're being faced, like, we're having to deal with uncertainty like we never have before. But I think there will eventually be a gift for having to face this uncertainty and finding ways to cope, whether that's gratitude or through family,
yeah,
you know, gratitude for family or the earth or wherever. I think
yeah.
hopefully as a society we'll come out a little bit more kind and compassionate and empathetic, and hopefully I
No,
fingers crossed.
What- so since the series is called Mornings With, and you started kind of
Okay.
talking a little bit about your mornings, so are you a morning person under normal?
100,000,000%, which is hilarious because my husband is such a night owl.
Okay.
So I am up. I mean, sometimes when I'm working, I'm up at like 5:30 or 6. With the quarantine, it's been like 6 or 6:30 sleeping in.
Leaving
But
it
I love
soccer.
waking up early. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like, I love tea. So I make
Okay.
tea, I meditate, and now I do my meditation out on my garden deck, where all my and water my plants, and then go on a hike. That's sort of my
Amazing.
routine. Yeah.
What type of tea do you drink typically?
Um,
You a
I
caffeine person or?
Yes, I've always loved black tea since I was like a little girl. My mom loves tea, so we were always a tea family. But recently, I've actually discovered this amazing tea. They're tea crystals. It's called Peak Tea, Pique.
Okay.
And they have a fermented green tea and a jasmine green tea that I have fallen madly in love with. And it's all for health. I am not well versed enough to tell you exactly what the fermentation process is, but I know there's no chemicals. It's like the purest form of tea you can have. And
Amazing.
I've never really loved green tea before, but theirs I love. So I've actually
So there's
switched out.
different types, quality.
Exactly. And also just, yeah, there's something about the way my body has been feeling after having green. I know green tea has always been good, like good for you, but I've never loved it the way I have now. So
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah.
And I know that you're really into meditation. So do you like do you have like a mantra or something or meditation to sort of frame your morning after you hike or?
Thing is, I usually do it like right when I first wake up before I check my phone, you know, outside if the weather is okay, which LA
Uh,
usually is.
Come on. LA.
Yeah,
Nice.
over the years, the first kind of meditation I learned was Transcendental Meditation. So that's sort of a staple. I've done that before every show of Two Broke Girls and every show of The Neighborhood. I
Yeah.
never miss doing a 20-minute TM meditation before a show. But recently, I've gotten really into a kind of meditation called Yoga Nidra,
Yoga
which
Nidra.
is
Okay.
sleep meditation. So usually for my second meditation in the day, I'll do a yoga nidra, and in the morning I'll do either TM or Deepak and Oprah right now have a free course that I've been doing that's mantra based. So it's similar to TM, but I love it because Oprah and Deepak, they do sort of like a 10-minute lecture about like a theme of the day
Yeah.
beforehand. And so I've been like making my tea and listening to sort of the 10-minute pre thing and then sitting and doing the actual mantra meditation.
I'm like one of Oprah's I love
Oh,
Oprah. So
I know. Who doesn't?
who
She's
doesn't
the
love Oprah?
best. Oprah 2020. No, just kidding.
I have been doing the Wim Hof breathing technique for the past like 3 months.
You have tell me
Yeah. Yeah,
everything.
I noticed a shift almost immediately because anxiety is something that I also have to deal with. And it really, I felt like it was moving stuck energy throughout my body,
Can
basically.
you explain to me, is there like something, I mean, I watched the Goop episode about him and the cold plunging
Yeah,
and stuff, but
yeah.
there's something like I can watch or learn about how you do the breath
He
technique?
actually has an app. And it has like a guided bubble breathing, and it's also free right now. And I've been telling a lot of people about this because it's really
Oh,
shifted my anxiety during this time period.
amazing.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it tells you like how long you hold your breath, and you can chart it. I mean, if you want to become like
How long is the sort
the
of each
videos
time
are
you
like
sit?
about 3 4 minutes.
Oh,
So
so it's not a
either
super intense
no,
commitment kind of.
no, you can keep doing more rounds of it. So like I usually do about 3 or 4 rounds of
Oh,
it.
you do?
Yeah,
Wow.
and then you can hold your breath as long as you want. I mean, I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I just know that after I do it, I just feel like I see clear. It's like meditation, but it's moving stuck energy in my body.
Do you do it in the morning, like
I do
first
it in
thing
the morning, unless I have something going on, and I'll usually always try to do it once a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this right after we
It's,
talk.
it's like not the most relaxing, but
No,
like
I know, but I mean, I've done breath work with an amazing woman who does like Reiki healing and stuff here named Laura Elliott, and she does like this breath work with the Reiki, and I've noticed like what you're saying, that energy just you're releasing and it moves through, and you just feel clear after. So I
it's
can
incredible.
imagine,
I really
yeah.
recommend it. That has really kind of been a game changer for
Cool.
sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like really excited to try this.
And he has like all these other different modules too that you can like that are you can pay for them, but about like the ice, the ice baths and the cold shower.
That I like.
That
I tried the cold
it's
because
hard.
Max Greenfield, my co-star on
Yeah,
the neighborhood, and I
you
were
do
like,
it.
we're gonna do cold plunges. We're
Yeah.
into it. And he totally committed and like started really small with like cold showers and then worked his way up to like a full-blown cold. I lasted about 10 seconds the first
It's
day
hard.
we said we were gonna do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
To take deep breaths like when you're under cold water. I mean,
I don't
it's
know why it's so
like
hard for me because Max loves it. It's like his thing, and I was gonna do it like also, but I couldn't stick to it.
anyway. Gosh,
Anyways.